In a globally televised address to the nations of the United Kingdom and Commonwealth realms that left nary a dry eye across His Majesty's dominions, a tearfully elated King Charles III stunned observers by announcing a series of transformative new decrees in the wake of the joyous news surrounding Princess Catherine's miraculous cancer remission. As scenes of jubilant crowds celebrating the beloved Duchess of Cambridge's recovery flooded the airwaves, the newly installed monarch's raw emotional soliloquy detailing sweeping reforms born from his own personal renewal and Catherine's near-death ordeal captivated audiences worldwide with its authenticity and pathos. My most stalwart people, words can scarcely express the profound humility, reverence, and abiding gratitude your king feels on this most blessed of days heralding our dearest Princess Catherine's return from heaven's precipice, the visibly overcome sovereign tremulously declared from the Buckingham Palace throne room as his voice wavered. In the same spirit of sacred rebirth embodied in the prayers and perseverance showered upon my daughter-in-law throughout her courageous healing journey, it must become this crown's divine remit to undergo its own national renaissance, attuning our timeless constitutional spirit to a radically reborn United Kingdom for all her people. Between intermittent pauses as the monarch was overtaken weeping while Princess Anne and Prince William offered comforting embraces before the camera, Charles elucidated upon the sweeping initiatives inspiring his epiphanic embrace of a revitalized Great Britain better serving the egalitarian principles so reflected in the outpouring of empathy surrounding Catherine's harrowing health vigil. Beyond stripping away the palace's remaining antiquated ceremonial pomp while reaffirming the Church of England's primacy as a spiritual sanctuary for all faiths and orientations, the king also invoked his executive powers, formally bestowing lifelong noble titles throughout the royal family's rankings, most notably his grandsons Archie and George ascending as His Royal Highnesses the Prince of Ross and Lord St. Andrews. No longer can issues of primogeniture or bloodline inheritance hold relevance when our sovereign covenant adheres first and foremost to championing love, service and uplifting each sacred individual irrespective of rank, lineage or title, Charles fiercely intoned with a defiant vigor masking his still reddened eyes. In the same transcendent manner both my son-in-law Sir Tom achieved battlefield knighthood through his extraordinary gallantry and Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie's patronage of Britain's most vulnerable children demonstrated their truest nobility. May the noble Sussex issue Archie and all his royal relations earn their highest distinctions solely upon demonstrating the purest integrities of heart Catherine herself epitomized on her triumphant road back into loving embrace. But even those generational bombshells paled beside the seismic ramifications triggered across England's ancient orders upon Charles seizing the once unimaginable impetus to abolish both the House of Lords' hereditary aristocracy while also rescinding the very peerage system underlying Britain's extant monarchical firmament itself. In what historians already mark as the realm's most breathtaking self-repudiation since the crown's original inception over a millennium ago, the newly enthroned king declared all prior titled gentry were henceforth permanently dissolved while only recently honored peerage distinctions conferred over the past 5 years remained valid until their recipient's death. To at long last untether this United Kingdom's proud standing from the asphyxiating constricts of privileged birthright and inequity is to truly give meaning to Princess Catherine's own resplendent victory for all humankind over humanity's last universal wages. His Majesty announced to stunned silence throughout the Commonwealth societies simultaneously witnessing history appended throughout the Isles. Prime among those blessed individuals who will ascend ennoblement based solely upon their extraordinary merits furthering the dignity and welfare of their fellow scions, Her Majesty the Duchess of Cornwall, ennobled anew as Grand Duchess of Rothesay for her decadal advocacy crusade rescuing sex trafficking's most disenfranchised victims across Southeast Asia. As news reverberated across Britain, centuries entrenched aristocratic dynasties of their ancestral legacies rendered asunder, King Charles highlighted the individual royal confidants embodying the awe-inspiring integrity earning them such noble status in the newly reformed United Kingdom, including pioneering social worker Ms. Ingrid Jones ascending to the rank of Baroness Hay. By far the most poignant honor bestowed amid the gala bipartisan convocation came when His Majesty summoned a noticeably overwhelmed working-class London mother identified as Eileen Dover from the audience and elevated the anonymous woman to the rank of Duchess for her recently publicized acts of heroism in spiriting the ailing Duchess Catherine to emergency medical treatment during the outbreak of her life-threatening condition. Were it not for this benevolent daughter of the people courageously locating and intervening on behalf of our beloved princess during her direst hours, the blessed restoration we celebrate today might have tragically never transpired, Charles III thunderously acclaimed to thunderous cheers despite Duchess Dover's utter shock, her jaw visibly agape on screen. From this day forward, may her newly elevated station display the timeless wisdom of this royal sovereign, rewarding those most faithful commoners whose extraordinary grace represents Britain's truest nobility, far exceeding bloodline or title. As delirious scenes of nationwide festivities played out amidst the resplendent summer pageantry signaling the national rebirth promised in King Charles's address, royal insiders found themselves still struggling to process the sheer magnitude of seismic reconstruction appending the United Kingdom's immutable foundations, upon which the ruling monarchy itself has endured turbulent passage since time immemorial. Understandably, it shall require dutiful adjustment to collectively accept that seemingly sacrosanct concepts of inherited titles and hereditary privilege within our society have themselves been rendered instantly anachronistic with one fell swoop, declared Buckingham Palace's Lord Chancellor while still dazed from the epical implications of His Majesty's address. Yet consider how the same cultural norms in place for generations nearly precluded our nation from the unifying joy of Princess Catherine's deliverance, transcending petty hierarchies altogether until this day. While institutional change on such an unprecedented civilizational scale shall assuredly prove wrenching, our sovereign clearly believes a more meritocratic establishment ensuring no brilliant soul remains unsung or unrewarded ranks worthier reverence over perpetuating elitist structures damning swaths of the faithful to mere servitude, conceded the dispassionate academic analyzing the king's directives. In that singular regard, His Majesty accurately read the national mood reawakening alongside our princess's return. For what lasting import could dusty old heredity possibly retain when the prayers of a lowly civilian usher God's resplendent radiance back into our lives? To the most devout royal family watchers and historians in the arena crowd openly weeping while watching the watershed televised proceedings, the spectacle unfolding went beyond mere reshuffling of the United Kingdom's terrestrial power structures. Rather, King Charles III's tearful decrees forged through his beloved daughter-in-law's existential trial by fire represented an epical paradigm shift, recalibrating the very covenants undergirding society's most cherished unifying institutions for a more just and enlightened age. Though questions inevitably linger surrounding the sovereign's future decrees regarding the Catholic Church's integration into the newly reformed Church of England, few across the planet remained untouched by the pathos suffusing His Majesty's earnest entreaties for true egalitarian brotherhood irrespective of rank or station, earning our eternal blessings through service, courage and love alone. You could feel the people's spirits joining as one through the tumult of reckoning this staid dominion endured over our royal family's crisis, described one clergyman amidst London's raucous throngs after watching the King's broadcast. Just as our prayers beckon Princess Catherine's soul safely back from death's grip, King Charles's sacred rites today resurrected the very heart of England itself in service to life's greatest exaltations beyond terrestrial constraint, the miracle embodied in every humble person's unwavering fidelity to compassion.